What did they say? F it, we'll do it live. What is the guy?
I thought we were going to have to go make a call to the truck. Is everything okay down in the truck?
Hold on. Yup. Everything's okay. Oh, tacos today, boys? God, tacos. Got it.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Chicago Sean McLaughlin. I'm the Chief Option Strategist at All Star Charts. I'm joined by the main man, JC Peretz. JC, what's happening?
You know, just a nice little Wednesday. Just waiting for those Fed minutes. I just can't wait. I've been waiting all week for them.
So what did we decide? Is Fed minutes something you watch, or is it something you read, or something else?
Honestly, in my head, for some reason, I don't really have a good explanation. I thought that it was something that you listen to. I don't know where I got that in my head. Like it was almost like a podcast where you would like listen to the Fed minutes. So I asked the question because I know Straza and Willie know more about the Fed than I do. And I was like, hey, is this something like you listen to, or is it something that like you watch? Like, what's the story? They're like, no. Willie's like, well, first of all, it's something you ignore, so don't worry about it at all. And Willie's like, and I love the Fed, and I still want to ignore the Fed minutes. And I'm like, well, if one were to want to consume these said minutes, how would one go about doing so? And he says that you read it.
You and I know a couple people that if the Fed minutes were dropped on Spotify in album form once a month, we have a couple of friends who would probably be pretty geeked out about that, but that's not you and me.
I think it's interesting because Willie leans in that Fed direction way more than I do. And he's like, no, this is a waste of time. So for Willie to say that, I think that's interesting.
Yeah. So this little chat we're having today, normally on Wednesdays, we like to talk about a trade that we just recently put on. We like to share our process and give you something to look for. But today, we were putting our heads together in our morning meeting, and we were talking about the trades out there that we want to put on. And you know, we had a few ideas and some things that looked okay, but nothing got us excited. And we kind of all agreed that we're really just forcing it here. I mean, we got the Fed stuff happening today, which could possibly introduce a binary situation that could move the markets in one way or the other. We don't know, but it just felt like if we were putting a trade on here right now, it felt forced. So we were like, hey, the best trade on the board is to do nothing, at least for now, right?
So we've had a lot of success sort of selling premium, a lot of downside premium when the opportunity has presented itself, iron condors, things of that nature. So my head is in that space when it comes to this particular environment. We talked to a lot of traders, a lot of people getting chopped up. A lot of people are like, this is the hardest environment of my career, you know, for the drama queens. But I have heard that on multiple occasions. Fine. But what's happening? Why is it so frustrating? Why is it so difficult? It's because they're getting chopped up. Because they're trying to incorporate trend following strategies in environments that there is no trend in a lot of cases. Some trends, of course, but in a lot of cases there isn't a trend. So there's somebody on the other side of those trades of people getting chopped up, and those are us a bunch of times. I wish it was more, but certainly that is one trade that consistently has worked so well. The difference now is in a lot of those cases where we want to sell that premium, it wasn't as well defined. Like in gold, for example, we were looking to sell some premium in gold, and it's just, we were too far away. That's something maybe a couple of weeks ago would have been better. You know, in the case of looking at semiconductors, you know, if we were able to break out above a certain level, we could get a squeeze in semis. So like it didn't really set up. And I think this chart right here really sets the stage for what sort of environment we're in. Look at the S&P 500, look at the NASDAQ 100. These are just messy ranges. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. It doesn't have to be an uptrend or a downtrend. It doesn't have to be a, hey, JC, is it going higher or lower? Or are we buying it or are we selling it? It needs to be one. Like, that's not the way life works. It doesn't have to be one or the other. In a lot of cases, I would argue in most cases, the answer is there's really nothing to do. And today is one of those days, at least so far this morning.
Right. I mean, look, we love putting on breakout trades, stocks that are breaking out to all-time highs or stocks that are breaking out of significant ranges, whether breaking out to the upside or breaking down to the downside. We love those kinds of trades, and those are the trades that we prefer to put on. But I mean, you look at this chart, and I mean, geez, since the start of the year, I mean, that's just the chop zone. It's the what do you call it? The hot mess. I mean, look at that. I mean, if you're buying breakouts or selling breakdowns there, you're not having a good time.
No, you know, it's a like I said, it's a messy market where when I say those words, I tend to steer, and so do you for sure, to collect premium, to take advantage of other people's frustrations.
Right. And that's what we were looking to do this morning. We were looking around at the various indices. And I mean, look, gun to my head, I was telling you guys that if I had to put a trade on here, I would probably do like an iron condor or a strangle in the semiconductors index, the SMH. That one was kind of at the top of my list. But again, it felt forced. I felt like, this thing could, if semiconductors wants to rip from here, they could really rip, and it would make the, any kind of premium selling strategy problematic.
So because you were saying that, and we agreed, right? Then we were like, okay, what about something that's less strong, something that's weaker than semis? And we're looking at software, and the software, the levels seemed to line up pretty well, but was it the liquidity, the timing of it wasn't quite there?
Yeah, I mean, the liquidity wasn't exactly what I like. I mean, we could have done it, but I wouldn't have. It would have been pushing it. But more to the point is, the levels where I could have gotten acceptable premium to put on some kind of delta neutral credit spread, I just didn't feel like they were giving me enough space to be wrong, right? I mean, you want to have some margin for error when you're putting on a delta neutral spread, and I just felt like we were going to be playing it a little too close to the range that the software has been in the last month. So again, it was like, yeah, I could put a trade on there, but I just felt like I was forcing it. I don't want to feel like I'm forcing it. JC, we have the luxury of not having to trade. No one's telling us we have to put a trade on.
Thank God, too. And that's not the case for everybody. A lot of people have money to put to work, right? And they're judged on a relative basis, and they're always having to make a decision. We don't have those mandates. Like if we want to have heavy cash, or we don't want to put on an options trade on a Wednesday because there's just nothing that's super attractive, we'd really be forcing it. We have a lot of conversations about trades that we want to put on, and the conversation usually revolves around, should we do this one or that one, or should we do it this way or that way, right?
Right.
This one was like, but these levels, like it just wasn't the type of conversation that we're usually having, and that's okay. That's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. We could be having a conversation 2 hours from now and be like, yo, did you see this breakout? Buy it. Let's go all in. Cheap volatility, buy the calls. Or or not. We'll see what happens. Maybe there's a trade tomorrow that we like. And I like how you said it. Be like, JC, this is probably a good topic to discuss on Twitter, because it's something that people rarely discuss. We are guilty of that as well. We're not doing that enough, talking about the fact that you don't have to do anything. Stable coins are a position too.
Oh, that's very, very new age of you. Well done. Well, look, hey, the good news here is when I'm looking at that chart, if we could bring that chart back up, is this range that we're in right now, that we've been in for the past, let's call it 6 weeks. When that range resolves, whether it goes higher or lower, there are going to be some fantastic trade opportunities that set up. We don't know where they're going to come from just yet, but I don't know about you, JC, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think this spring and summer, we're going to be in for some good moves, some good tasty moves in the market.
I just don't know if they're going to be higher or lower, Sean.
I don't know either. Thankfully, we don't have to know.
Right. As traders that are unbiased to direction, be long or short, I'm okay with either. With traders that don't necessarily have to be in the United States stock market and could look overseas, I'm thankful for that. The fact that we could put on neutral strategies, they don't necessarily have to be bullish or bearish strategies, but betting on further frustration from traders, love that. They say that you shouldn't kick someone when they're down, Sean, but that's actually the best time to kick them, when they're already down. And with traders being incredibly frustrated with this chop, we've certainly benefited from that on a lot of trades that we put on. In hindsight, we would have put on twice as many of those kinds of trades, but always in hindsight. But moving forward, I don't see that the messiness has that we've evaded that messiness. Sure, there are uptrends, there are certainly downtrends, but the meat of the whole thing, like that middle, the juice, the median, is in a mess.
Yep. Well, look, before we finish up here, I'm throwing you a curveball. You didn't see this coming, but somebody pinged me a back channel, and they want you to maybe defend your position or maybe elaborate a little bit more about a tweet that you put out last night that a lot of people got a little worked up about, saying that, I'll quote, "If you think that's a bull market, then you should probably check yourself into a mental hospital." You want to stand by that still?
Well, I had people, some in the media when I'm being interviewed, or in some cases, just regular emails or tweets or whatever it is, and they're asking me if the stock market's going to enter into a bear market, right? Like I'm getting those questions. Are we going to go into a bear market? It's like, well, over 70% of the stocks in the NASDAQ have lost 20% of their value in the last year. Over 70% of the NASDAQ has lost 20%. Almost half the entire NASDAQ has been cut in half. The price of the stocks on the NASDAQ, almost half of them, have been split down the middle. So, like I said, if you think that that's what a bull market is, I think maybe you need to reevaluate certain things. Maybe
all right. I think
to somebody. I think you need to recognize that the majority of stocks have been struggling, particularly over the last year. And when you look globally, they've been struggling a hell of a lot longer than that. Think about what it looks like when the bear market is over versus wondering if we're going to enter into a bear market.
All right, my friend. I think your argument will hold up in court. Well done. Sorry for putting you on the spot there.
No, it's a good thing that I think people need to recognize. Like, a lot of stocks have been struggling all over the world, not just in the United States, and those growth stocks have been murdered. A lot of market capitalization just disappeared. Those are not bull markets.
All right, guys. Well, the final word today is there's nothing wrong with sitting on your hands. It's okay. It's okay. Wait till you got clearer signals. Wait for this Fed to get out of the way. Wait for the stars to align. Wait for the breakouts to happen. You don't have to trade. All right. So that's all I got for you. JC, any last words?
Swing at good pitches. What are you going to swing at a curveball in the dirt for? Wait for your pitch and then swing.
Right on. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Adios.